Welcome back everyone to my channel. As you all know, my name is Grace Wambai. Today I have the pleasure and honor of interviewing Rose Nguyen, who's a sales manager for Melbourne Group. Feel free to introduce yourself a little bit.
Thanks so much, Grace. I'm excited to be here with you and your clients. We are really excited to introduce Oscar Residences here in the Annex. It's an amazing opportunity to be in a coveted neighborhood, and we're so excited to share more details with you today.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. So I'll get right into it. So obviously we're in the last phases of the launch, and I gotta ask, like, why do you think Oscar has seen so much success, in terms of sales and the movement? Like, what was special about it?
Oscar is really special. We launched back in 2021, and we are at the tail end of our sales, which is really exciting. A few weeks ago, we were able to top off the building, so the roof is completed. So such a monumental time for the building as we gear towards completion, which is mid next year. Okay. And Oscar really saw great success because it really is a gem in the city, right? It's a boutique building. We're only 9 stories, 155 suites. It's a rare gem that in a city full of skyscrapers, you really get the great offering of this amazing neighborhood and amazing views. I think people are really surprised with the amazing skyline views that you get from a mid-rise building like Oscar, so close to great area amenities as well.
So let me just get into it. The developer, Lifetime, right? You've been with Lifetime for a bit. Square Yards and Lifetime have partnered in different projects. Yes. But could you talk a little bit about the developer and why this is so special for us too?
Of course. Lifetime is one of the best developers in the city. They have developed many Toronto projects, from the Bisha Hotel and Residences to the Four Seasons. So they definitely have that experience. And I think what makes them really special is that they're fully Tarion approved. So this means when they come to market, they're bringing projects that are going to be complete. And I think for buyers coming into pre-construction, that's one of the most valuable assets, is to purchase and invest with a builder that has the experience, that is able to deliver their product as promised. And what's also really special about Lifetime is they're really dedicated to bettering their communities. So they're very involved with charities like Lifeline and See You Soon. So they do really contribute more than just the product. They're bettering the areas that they also build in.
So we do have remaining units that are being delivered by next summer. So move-in is going to be next summer.
Yes.
What type of units should we expect right now that are remaining?
Yeah, so we actually have a great inventory available starting from the 500s, and this is something I want to stress because in this neighborhood, especially in the Annex, you're surrounded by multi-million-dollar homes. So the entry level to ownership in this neighborhood, you're looking at over $1 million.
1.2, 1.3.
Even for pre-construction. New construction, you're finding anything in the 2 bedrooms above $1 million. Yes. Whereas here at Oscar, we have 2 bedrooms starting in the 900s. So there is opportunity for ownership, affordable ownership in this really prestigious neighborhood. And we have some amazing incentives to really help make this possible. So right now we have a special 5% deposit. Right. So it's only 5% until occupancy next year, which again, you said is in mid-2024. And we have an amazing mortgage top-up program. So this is really gonna help your buyers help pay down those mortgages after final closing, up to $1,600 a month for 1 year.
That is pretty special. So we do know where the market has been a little bit unpredictable, and for the buyers out there too, the biggest concern from some of our clients is how are the developers going to come in and help us out? You know, we're willing to purchase. Sure, you're only asking for 5% down, but what does that look like? Some units are in the 500s, so you're looking at 25,000 to 30,000, going up to 40 to 45,000. That is what 5% will look like, right? And at the time of closing, the biggest thing when people are saying, okay, I'm about to speak with my mortgage broker, I'm about to find out what I'm approved for, this is where a lot of people are a little bit nervous. So I thoroughly appreciate the developers right now are coming together to say, how can we help buyers? That's what a mortgage top-up will be. So for 1 year, on a monthly basis, I believe, the developer will be giving you this mortgage top up, right?
Yeah.
In a form of how are they giving this to them? Are they depositing it? Is it going to be a bank draft?
Literally, the developer will send a check to you on a monthly basis for 1 year after the final closing. So this is cash in your pocket. It's not applied anywhere else. So again, if things change, and hopefully they do by the time we close, you could be looking at, you know, a positive and just extra dollars in your pocket after closing.
That's actually a good point to add. I have to stress again back to the price point. So we're minutes away from Yorkville. Like I say, we're in the Annex neighborhood, multi-million-dollar properties in this area, high-end luxury area. And to get something in the 500s, I'm still in shock because typically by the time most of our projects, when we're selling the last phases, at that point the prices have already shot up. So these are still some of the launch prices I remember when you guys launched in the 500s. So
Correct.
the developer is being extra generous, and this is why we want a lot of our buyers to know, because when people hear Oscar Residence, they see where it is, it's automatic no. So we really want to encourage you to really take advantage. I also want to touch up and correct me if I'm wrong, like for those investors, so not everybody's an end user that will be buying here. For those investors that are looking to rent out, we usually pride in that cash flow investment, okay? That a lot of people always say, well, what if I don't get the right tenant? What if I get the tenant and it doesn't match up to paying my mortgage? That mortgage top up for that first year is a no-brainer. So that's a guaranteed cash flow. Could you add on that a little bit?
Yeah, and I love that you pointed that out because the way the rental market is going right now, it's super strong. And again, based on the demand, based on the population growth that we're seeing, the immigration numbers that are coming to the city, people will choose to live in Toronto time and time again. The opportunities are here, the job supply is here, and in a location that you're, again, so accessible to great education, to great amenities in the area, you know, shopping, dining, culture. This is all what the Annex represents. So as an investment, I think it's a great opportunity because again, that mortgage top-up can help even if the rents are high and they meet above, you know, the standard by next year or when at the time of final closing. That's just extra cash in your pocket.
Yeah. And what are how much are 1 bedrooms to 2 bedrooms averaging in this area lately?
So when we compare the product that's in the neighborhood, when it comes to 2 bedrooms down the street, you're looking at $1.2 million to start. At Oscar Residences, we have 2 bedrooms starting in the 900s with amazing floor plans. And I feel like this is so key because you can have 1,000 square feet of wasted space, but when the floor plan is efficient and functional, it's gonna offer better flow and livability.
Right. And another point to add on to that as well is a lot of investors haven't had any issues trying to find their rental clients. Like we've seen the supply-demand issue. There's a huge demand. Supply is really still on edge. So you could still find the tenant that's matching the rental market, and then on top of that, you're getting the extra cash a month. How could you go wrong?
It's a no-brainer. And to your point as well, I love the idea of the type of tenant you mentioned. I feel like a lot of clients, especially first-time investors, you know, they want to get into the market, but they've never been a landlord before. When it comes to boutique buildings, typically they garner higher rental rates because of their exclusivity. You're not in a 700-unit building. You're not in a 60-story tower. This is 9 stories, 155 suites. You'll typically get long-term tenants here, professional, people who want to live in this type of space that's not typically your average rental building. So that will get higher prices in terms of rents and long-term tenants, which most landlords are very happy with.
Let's talk about, because obviously investors and end users, you still want to be in a neighborhood that's really attractive and really demanding. So what are some of the education facilities that are in the area?
The top-notch schools you can ask for. So we are minutes walk to George Brown College, which is the number one. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So we're right around the corner from George Brown Casa Loma campus, which has consistently been the top employer in Canada for over 5 years now. So that's great because it's not just about the students. It's about, you know, the teachers, the professionals. They're in the market to rent as well too. So you want that qualified tenant and, you know, qualified professionals who are looking to live in this type of prestigious neighborhood. Other schools in the area, we have the top private schools. So UCC is just about a 10-minute drive away. So again, it's not just for the person living in it now. There could be clients that are looking down the line for their children to live in, right? To be in close proximity to these great private and public schools. And then of course U of T. So U of T is about a 10-minute ride from Oscar Residences. They have such a renowned status as being one of the top universities in the country and worldwide. So this is great proximity to all of these educational facilities.
So you talked about, being a boutique building and being this area, you still have the opportunity to have this unobstructed views, right? How did you guys go about choosing a perfect location like this?
So I think that goes back to the developer, right? Lifetime really makes sure that they build in communities that are slated for immense growth, that have the opportunity to make their buyers money, right? It's an investment at the end of the day, and you want to be in a community that is going to be poised for growth. So here at Oscar Residences, we're located on the new DuPont, which is really exciting because over 5,000 units are expected or projected to come to this direct DuPont strip.
Very good point.
Okay, so that's again slated for immense transformation. We are going to see the growth over these next years and decades, and that's just value on your investment. But even more so, it's in a location that's also getting development when it comes to green spaces.
Yes.
So the Green Line is a really exciting addition to the city. We all know we lack green spaces in the city with all of these new developments. Public spaces are harder and harder to come by. So this is a new 5-kilometer linear park system that's going to go right behind Oscar Residences. It's going to have parks, trail spaces, bike trails, and just open public spaces that really connect to the communities that surround the area.
That is very key. We all know that some people might say, what are some of the things that actually push price appreciation, right? We pride in price appreciation, the growth in the area, and it has to be a cash flow positive investment as well. And seeing when 5,000 units are about to come on the DuPont corridor and, going all the way to the Junction area that we talk about, that's not too far from here as well. This whole area, we're about to see a major transformation. And the fact that the Green Line is coming, green spaces, infrastructure, naturally, it's just going to push more demand in this area. So the time to invest is now. I am very, very excited. And thank you so much for making the time to do this. Before we actually just wrap up, could you just touch on some of the top incentives that are the mortgage top-up, which is big. But can we talk about the other ones? Seeing that it's closing next year, how should buyers also prepare themselves?
So I love that we still have a little bit of timeline until closing, because then buyers can really prepare for those closing costs, which Oscar has also helped to bring down. So we have $0 development levies. So development levies are, charges on final closing that a lot of buyers tend to be surprised about because they are substantial nowadays. So the fact that we're capping it at $0, you're paying $0 on those levies, that's one of the biggest components of your closing costs. So you're paying $0 there. Next, we have also free assignment, which is great. Again, if you have investors that are looking to sell, next year, if things change down the line. But even more so, we are offering the right to lease during occupancy. So if you are renting the unit, you don't have to wait until final closing, where a lot of builders prefer for you to rent out the unit. Now, once you get your keys, you can start paying down those occupancy fees and those carrying costs right from the get-go.
I'm glad you brought that up. So for the viewers out there that don't understand what development charges are, these charges are very, very crucial and important for any developer that's looking to build in any type of area. They do have to expect that the government will also demand that new parks come in, new schools come in, and unfortunately, because it's pre-construction, it's hard to predict what those charges will be. So you always want to make sure they're capped at the very least. I've never seen a developer that said zero development charges. And this is where people will find at the time of closing, oh gee, like nobody really prepared me for that. So it's very, very important that we talked about that. And just so you guys know, also for your information, it usually ranges from $12,000 all the way to $18,000 to $20,000, depending on the project. And in a luxury neighborhood like this, it's a great opportunity. You're saving close to 25 to 30K in your closing costs just by having this. Free assignment, I'm glad you talked about that because everybody wants to know that they have an exit strategy. Obviously, the whole goal is to close the property. Time is your best friend when it comes to real estate. We're not looking for this quick flippers, but in the event that the situations change, the area has improved and it's grown, it's really, really good to know that you guys are offering a free assignment. And what an assignment really is, for those people that don't know, this is just a contractual agreement to a new buyer that could take over that contract where you committed that you will be the buyer at that time. So these are really, really, really important factors. Thank you so much, Rose. You know, we've worked with Rose for a number of years, and you're definitely a fan of Square Yards.
Yes,
so I cannot wait to bring clients here. I cannot wait to walk clients in the neighborhood, perhaps go grab a cocktail at Four Seasons, you know. These are developers that you want to partner with because you know that they've thought through the entire process. They've worked hard on it. They've hired some of the top managers that we know in the city right now. So I can't be more grateful. So for a private tour, feel free to contact me directly. And Rose and I will be happy to tell you a little bit more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah.